Hello everybody, today is day 34 and here is what day 33 looked like with the page about post-Christmas shopping and then the little insert card that is going to end up laying like this. And my page today, long work day, is going to be from one of the photos I took that I take things that I might not use right that day, but I'll use on like long work days where I have too much to do. So one of these is a nativity. You've seen this before. I've talked about this, and I'll probably use that tomorrow. One of these is a piece that says Almost Christmas that I forgot to use, so that I'll save for next year. I'll just stick it in my Christmas box. And then this is the photo that I want to use today. It's a photo of my tree, full length. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to do this on a 6x8 background. The other thing is that I have this acrylic word from Elle's Studio that says Twinkle, and I really want to get that on the page somewhere. My other thing is that I also have this one last acrylic tree, and I wanted to use that on this page, but the other day I actually put my elbow on my desk and cracked this. So I could do something like this where I would use it and then just put a little label or something over there. So that's a thought, but the more I'm looking at it, the more I think I just like the twinkle, and I'm not so sure I love the acid green, but that's an idea for a time. The Full of Merry and Magic would work here too. So what I'm thinking, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to put this aside. The one thing I'm thinking, this is very pink and blue, and this is probably going to be kind of green. I'm probably going to put some sort of piece in between the two because I think they're not enough alike. So I'm not sure what that'll be yet. We'll just leave this here. I'm going to find a piece of paper, and I'm thinking I want green here just because it kind of has a pinky red tone to it. And I have a couple of green options here. So let's see what we like on this. I like this because it says Twinkle and it's all about the stars. I do have some white stars I could use on this too if I wanted to. This looks great with the red. Same thing there. This is more of a yellowy green, the star. And then I have this one. And although I love this paper, I've used it a lot, I don't like the diamond shape with this. It's a little bit distracting. So I'm down to either this one or this one. So let's take a look and see what we think. I've got this on here just for a red reference. I like that. And I like this as well too. Both of those I think look good. The one thing I'm thinking is I think I'm going to go with this green because it's just a smaller print and I think it reads better. The other thing I think I could do here, as I'm looking at this now, there is a red piece here that says Merry Christmas all across the bottom here. And maybe what I want to do, and I'm really liking how that's laying up against there, is maybe what I really want to do then is just, and I've definitely decided I don't want to do that tree now, is I could leave this on here and consider that as part of my whole page. I think sometimes that's just a nice little difference in those 6x8 pages, and it adds something a little bit different. Now, I had a full-size page. There it is. It's right under the paper. This is where I need to measure because it's not truly 6x8, if you remember that. It's really 8.5. Basically 8.5, but if I measure to 8.5, it will be too big. So I'll probably do 8.25. And this is by about 6 and a little bit less than 6 1/4. So I'm, oh, and if I do the 8 1/2, I measure it from here. So I think I'm going to do that. So I'll measure the 8 1/2, including this red strip at the bottom. And then I'm going to be committed to it because I won't have enough paper to cut otherwise. So 8 1/2, and then a little bit less than 6 1/4. And just going to check this to make sure this sits in this pocket properly. Because if I have to cut it off, I'd rather do it now. I'm going to need to cut a little bit off the sides and just a little bit off the top. So off the top, I'm going to cut that one row of polka dots off. That's a good way to measure. It's kind of nice when you have polka dots. It makes it easy to measure. And then there's a not full row of polka dots on this one side, so I'm going to cut that off as well. And now this should fit in here really nicely, which it does. Okay, and this paper, I'll tell you, is Pebbles Home for Christmas, and the paper name is Holly Jolly, just because this is not the LA Studio that I've been using. This is 2014, so this is actually 2 Christmases ago. But I think I just bought this like in a clearance at I can't even think right now, clearance at Cherry on Top before Christmas, because I wanted some just plain green. I didn't have a lot of that. Okay, so here's my photo, and what I'm doing now is let's see, for some reason I'm thinking it goes this way, that I'm reading it this way, but it is sitting across from this, so it just doesn't feel right if it's reading that way to me. So I think I am going to just do this. And what I'm going to do is, I don't want to get that too close. Well, actually, I think I'm going to wait to glue this down. Let's see what I'm going to use on the side here, because that might make a difference. I have my red die cuts here. What I'd really like to have is, here's a cute little piece that says Merry and Bright that I could stick up here. The poor angel, though. If I did that, I'd have to drop this down a little bit yet. So maybe that. Now what I want is something that I can put over here, and I could run the twinkle into this somehow. So that could say documented. That would actually work. This Good Cheer is cute, but it would point the wrong way, and I'm not going to just point at the angel there. Here's a big December. You've seen me using those before. Oh, this is kind of cute. It says, love this. And I do love this. So, and that will take up this space on this side of the photo. So I think we're going to do that there. Just continuing to look to see if I can find anything. Now, I'm not going to use a regular journaling card on this because this is so much narrower here. I want something else. And let's see, here's a couple of circular elements. I think I've used up a lot of my circles. I think next year when I do this, what I'll probably do is just print a bunch of these. I've got the file, I can't remember, the JPEG, PNG file, I don't remember what it is. But that file that I can make a bunch of these individually and just put them on one sheet is what I'm thinking. So I could do, because I did have them bigger than that, and that probably would have been perfect for this. So I could do this, but I think that's too small. And I could do this, but the thing I don't like about that is I don't like these two reds together. They don't look quite right. So I think I'm going back to the documented. I'm going to cut off a little bit of the side there. And the Love This has a little bit of white from where I've cut it off as well. So let's get that on there. I do need a number on here too. I don't want to forget that, but that could go right up there if I wanted to do that like that. Okay, ooh, that was noisy. All right, so what I'll do is I'm just going to put some ATG up here, and I figured this was going to happen pretty quickly, so I'm going to apologize about this, but you're going to see me have to change my wheels real time, which probably isn't the worst thing if you're thinking about getting an ATG with all the money that, or gift cards that Santa brought you, I guess. So you just take that off the wheel. I always keep a spare wheel, and I'll show you why in just a second. So I'm going to grab my ATG wheel. You take the end of it and you stick it on the one wheel, and then you take off the little this of course is not going to work right because I'm trying to show you. You take off this little protective tape. Oh, and I probably need to make sure you can see that. So you take off that little protective tape that I've now balled up. And then all you do is run it over the top wheel and under the second wheel there. And then you get it to this little wheel and you just put the tape in between those two guides. Now, I've had my ATG for 5 years. Yes, I got it in 2011. So I am constantly getting the glue stuff stuck in wheels and that kind of stuff. So if I see it, I take it off because that hurts the performance, obviously. Then you push this lever back in your button because then the wheel will turn freely. You wind around the little black guide there, and then you take your piece and you put it back on, and I locked it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my spare wheel on top of this. The reason I'm doing that is otherwise sometimes this will slide back and forth and the tape will move back and forth on the wheel. This holds it steady. This went around the internet a couple years ago, and that's where I got that tip from. So, you know, if you don't have an extra wheel yet, just do it the next time. All right, so there we go, ATG on. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue down the photo there, and that took me, really, I walked you through it, so it took me a little bit longer than it normally would. And I forgot I already put ATG on that. So what I need to do here is figure out where my twinkle is going to end so I know where to put my documented. And that's going there. This should be a pretty quick page, actually, now that I'm really thinking about it. And then I'm just going to put my ATG on the word itself here to get it to stick. I'm rolling it through the spaces. And I haven't done a 6x8 page in here in a little bit, so I think that's a good thing that I haven't had one in a while, so it's time for another one. Okay, so I have the twinkle on here. Now what I'm going to do, this corner is, whoops, I have glue right here on my ATG. I can use my undo that you saw the other day to get that glue off of there too. So I'm going to take that. This is a photo I did print it at home on matte photo paper. Just, you know, I print pretty much everything at home. Sometimes if I've gone on a long trip, I don't. If I have hundreds and hundreds of photos, but I pretty much do. And yes, the ink and paper is expensive, but I prefer to print at home. All right, so that's that so far. I just saw this cute little sticker that says Holiday Hoopla, but I don't think that works so well with that. Just trying to figure out if I want to do anything else here. Documented. This is the December, the Marion Full of Magic. Like I said, I think if I had the right circle, I could do that there. That says tradition. I'm not loving that. Oh, how about, let's think about some buttons, or I have not used flare in a little bit. The other thing I could use too is I could use some of my washi tape, you know, and just kind of pop it up there. But I'm going to hold off on that for just a second. And I'm going to use either my red. So it's those two. And I think I might have a polka dot. Yep, I do. Oh, and I have another chevron popped in here. So I could use those. I don't care for this one. I don't care for the red in this one. So here's an idea of what I could use. But what I first want to do is I want to look at what I have. Oh, and I love this little button. This little Santa button. I don't like it there. This one says Happy Holidays. This one says Noel. This one says Let It Snow, which I'm not putting anywhere near my book because we've had enough snow. It's been warm the last couple of days, so it's really melted a lot, which is I'm a-okay with. I'm feeling like these are all a little bit heavy to be going right here. This little penguin guy is cute. Oh, I also have him in a wood button, which I kind of like. I could also, and I think that's what I'm going to do, is instead of using the heart there, I think I'm going to do something with one of these, some buttons. Oh, and I just found one. This is the wood buttons from Chamel's collection last year, and here's a ornament. So that would be great right there, and the sizing looks nice. And I need to, you know, get the heart covered. So I'm just trying to decide, do I like it that way or this way? And I think I like it this way better. So that'll go there. And I probably will put these on the outside of the page protector, and maybe that cute little penguin guy, which has now stuck. Okay, I know these aren't going on there. The Let It Snow is definitely not. I could do the Noel, but it feels like it's yellow. And that one is too busy. I have another ornament here, but it's blue. And I have a present here, but I think that's that acidy green. Here's one that's a light. I think that's calling too much attention to itself. I have a nice little, these are nice little, but you know what? I like this green here, and the reason I like that green is because it kind of pulls in the green from here. So that's what I'm going to do. This penguin is an old Recollections button from a couple of years ago as well. I just hadn't used them. I don't use penguins a lot. And then, oh, I forgot I have this Christmas tree as well too. But I think we've sort of determined what I'm using, and I have used quite a few of these trees, so that might, you know, I might move on from that. And I think I'm not going to use the washi, but the one thing I do need to do here is I do need to get my number on here. And really, I don't have much to say about this because this is what it is. It's the main tree in the living room of my house. I just saw my sequins. I could have used those too, but that's okay. I haven't used sequins much this year. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I haven't used a lot of wood veneer either, and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is maybe put the 34 in the corner down here. And I'm going to go to my numbers from Julie Bean Soup, because I think it's a little bit closer to the color of this. And I do have a 34 in that. These are too big. It would take up the whole piece there, which is fine if that's what I wanted to do, but I don't in this particular case. So I'm just going to grab the 4, and I'm going to put it in this corner over here. And if you were following me, you know that when I tried to decorate this tree in the living room, or actually the tree prior to that, that I found out that not all the lights were working on the tree, and I'd forgotten that from the year before when I tried to get them working and they didn't. So last minute I went out and I bought a tree. So this is the first year that this tree's been with me. All right, so there's that. I am going to quick document the here, I'll put these on here so you can see, kind of see what they're going to look like, but then I'm going to do my journaling and I will get this all set aside for you. This one was a fairly quick page. I'm glad to see that. I should be getting better at this after doing this for 34 days. Take care, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.